This recording is going to cover the male reproductive system. Introduction. All living organisms, whether unicellular or multicellular, small or large, must reproduce in order to continue their species. Humans and most multicellular organisms produce by sexual reproduction. The gonads, which is a gamete-producing gland, the testes in the male and ovaries in the female, produce gametes. Gametes are the reproductive cell. The male gamete is the sperm, and the female gamete is the ovum, egg, or ova. Fertilization occurs within the female reproductive tract, specifically the uterine tube. When the sperm and ovum unite, they will form a zygote. A zygote is the fertilized ovum. The scrotum is actually an outpouching of the abdominal wall. It is described as a double pouch-like structure containing the testes. Externally, it appears as if it's a single pouch of skin, but internally, it is separated into two sacs by a septum. It is located outside the body because sperm and hormone production and survival require a temperature that is 3 degrees lower than body temperature. Testes are the primary organs in the male reproductive system. They are pale male gonads. They measure about 2 inches in length and 1 inch in diameter. They are located in the scrotum or scrotal sac. The function of the testes is to produce sperm and the hormone testosterone. They develop near the kidneys in the posterior portion of the abdomen. They begin their descent into the scrotum through the inguinal canal during the latter half of the 7th month of fetal development. They are partially covered by a serous membrane called the tunica vaginalis, which is an outpocketing of the peritoneum that is formed during the descent of the testes. They are divided into a series of internal compartments called lobules. The septa, a partition that is formed by the tunica albuginea. The tunica albuginea is a dense, whitish, inelastic tissue that extends inward, forming a septa. This divides the testes into lobules. It is located in the internal to the tunica vaginalis. The seminiferous tubules are contained within 200 to 300 lobules of the testes. They are a series of tightly coiled tubules. These actually produce the sperm or spermatozoa by the process known as spermatogenesis. Now, spermatic ducts are going to store and transport sperm. So let's take a look at the epididymis. This is a comma-shaped organ and it measures about 1.5 inches. It is tightly coiled, and if it would straighten, it would measure about 20 feet. It lies along the posterior border of the testes and provides storage and transit and maturation for sperm. Sperm may remain in storage in the epididymis for a month or more. The epididymis is going to connect the testes with the ductus deferens, also known as the vas deferens. The vas deferens or ductus deferens, there are 2 of these. They are about 18 inches in length. They ascend along the posterior border of the epididymis. It passes through the inguinal canal, which is an oblique passageway in the anterior abdominal wall, just superior and parallel to the medial half of the inguinal ligament. The vas deferens or ductus deferens will enter the pelvic cavity, loop over the side of the ureter, and go down the posterior surface of the urinary bladder. It functions to transport sperm from the epididymis to the ejaculatory duct. It stores sperm, which can remain viable for up to several months. Ejaculatory ducts. There are 2 of these, and they are about 1 inch in length. They are formed by the union of the seminal vesicles and the ductus or vas deferens. It terminates in the prostatic urethra, where they eject sperm and seminal vesicle secretions just before ejaculation. Ejaculation is the powerful propulsion of semen from the urethra to the external environment. The urethra. This is a singular organ. It is the terminal portion or duct of both the reproductive and urinary systems in the male, so it has a dual function in the male. And remember, in the female, it only serves as a single purpose, and that's urinary only. It is about 8 inches in length. It passes through the prostate gland, the urogenital diaphragm, and the penis, and by doing so, it's divided into 3 parts as described below. As it passes through the prostate gland, it's going to be referred to as the prostatic urethra. It continues inferiorly and passes through the urogenital diaphragm, a muscular partition between the 2 ischial and pubic bones, and then it is known as the membranous urethra, and this part's only about 1/2 inch in length. As it passes through the corpus spongiosum of the penis, it is known as the spongy, penile, or cavernous urethra, and this is about 6 to 8 inches in length. The spongy urethra ends at the external urethral orifice. Accessory organs of reproduction. Remember that spermatic ducts store and transport the sperm cell. Accessory glands or organs will secrete most of the liquid portion of semen, which provides an acceptable environment for the sperm's survival in the female reproductive tract. The seminal vesicles. There are 2 of these. They are paired pouch-like glands located posterior to the base of the urinary bladder and anterior to the rectum. They secrete an alkaline, viscous fluid containing fructose, which is a monosaccharide, which neutralizes the acid of the female reproductive tract. Its secretion constitutes 60% of the volume of semen. If the acid were not neutralized, it would kill and inactivate the sperm. Prostate gland, a singular gland, is a single donut-shaped gland about the size of a chestnut or golf ball. It lies inferior to the urinary bladder and surrounds the superior portion, the prostatic portion of the urethra. It secretes a milky, slightly basic fluid which contributes to the sperm's motility and constitutes 20 to 30% of the volume of semen. The bulbul referral or Cowper's gland, there are 2 of these, and they are about the size of a pea. They lie inferior to the prostate gland on either side of the membranous urethra within the urogenital diaphragm. They secrete an alkaline substance that neutralizes acids from the urine in the urethra. It also secretes mucus that lubricates the end of the penis and the lining of the urethra, which decreases the number of sperm damage during ejaculation. Its secretion constitutes the remainder of semen. So what exactly is semen? It's a mixture of sperm, the seminal fluid, the liquid that consists of the secretions from the seminal vesicles, prostate gland, and bulbourethral gland. The penis. The penis has 2 functions in the male. It carries urine by way of the urethra to the external environment during the process of urination, and it transports semen through the urethra to the vagina during ejaculation. The penis is a cylindrical shape, and it consists of 3 sections. The root, which is the attached proximal portion to the body trunk. The body, it contains 2 cylindrical masses of tissue. The first is the corpora cavernosa. Corpora means mane, and cavernosa is hollow. This is the largest cylindrical mass. And the second is the corpus spongiosum. This contains the spongy urethra and is the smaller cylindrical mass. And the third part of the penis is the gland penis. This is the slightly enlarged acorn-shaped region at the distal end of the corpus spongiosum.